Guys, this is Coach Triggerfish. Today we're going to be looking at a scrim, um, and it's going to be looking at two different styles of Reinhardt. One is going to be Tayter's, and the other is going to be mine. So that's who we're going to be watching. What topics are we going to be covering today? One, we're going to be talking about our shield management. Two, we're going to be talking about playing around corners and natural cover. And three, we're going to talk about how aggressive we can be as Reinhardt. Okay. So, right off the bat here, we have Tayter playing
Defend objective A. Everyone be careful.
Yeah. So right off the bat, we start holding this corner, which is fine. And then we back up, see the Widowmaker, and we back up to this corner. So first thing that does is it allows red team to come through the choke for free, right? Reinhardt is excellent at denying people access to chokes. You see it on 2CP a lot. Like Hanamura has something very similar to this, where it's kind of one main access and it's fairly small. He's great at holding it. So by backing up to this corner, it just kind of means that we are giving up the choke for free. Again, our team, and you guys have a Mei, right? So Mei's great at walling off that choke, and then you guys are able to get that pick, right? So we gave up the choke for free, which is not the worst thing in the world. Okay. But then right here, if we look, we're already down to 500, and it was even 300 on our shield, right? And the fight has hardly started.
One, ready for battle. Attackers incoming. Defend.
So we have full shield. We're backing up to this corner. We want to play at this corner. That's totally fine. Good fire strike. Then we start holding our shield, right? And we're just constantly holding that shield. And watch, it's just the Roadhog that's pressuring the shield down. So he's alternate firing. It's already down to half. And now we saw that it's 332 health. And the fight's just about to start, right? So we don't want to be allowing our shield to get this low before the fight happens, right? As the opposing Reinhardt has 1200. So he has 4 times the amount of shield on you, right? So both Ryans are playing corners. It's fine. Good fire strikes. And then all of a sudden, right here, the shield breaks. When shield breaks, it gives off a signal to the opposing team that now's the time to push, right? Even having it at 1, the shield hasn't broken. We don't get that audible sound, so the enemy team might still be a little bit hesitant. But once the shield breaks, everyone knows. And then this is the time that the red team starts pushing in. And then, yeah, see, like, again, shield's broken, again, because the fight's happening, we don't have enough time to just let our shield recharge, right? You do well at keeping your shields up as low as it is. But anyway, so that's the main thing about shield management, right? If you had more shields for that fight, things could have been much different. So just remember, all this just poke spam damage coming through, I'd rather see that go to your health bar, because your health bar can be healed up by your healers, right? That regenerates much faster than your shield does. And we don't have anything, like, as long as you block the hog hook, there's nothing that can really one-shot you as a tank, right? So there's no real reason to be taking all this spam damage. So let's fast forward a little bit. Okay. So enemy team capped first point, and now they're really pushing up. They're really trying to push their advantage. So you guys elect to do a full regroup. That's totally fine. Your shield is now back up to full. Okay. So that's hooked down, right? So right here, just crossing from one side to the next, you've now taken almost half your shield damage, right? And now we're trying to move up to cart, and your shield's almost broken. So ults do get invested, so ultimately it doesn't matter about that. But if you guys chose to not invest those ults and you wanted to do it without them, I know that's a big game part of Overwatch, but for kind of coaching purposes on shield management, we're just going to pretend that's not part. So yeah, just crossing, we really want to get into the habit of shield hopping, right? It's something that most Reinhardt mains can utilize. It moves you faster, essentially. I'll show a demonstration kind of as a bonus at the end of this. So instead of just walking with your shield up, you can shield hop, and you won't take as much shield damage.
Please, don't move.
Alright. So you guys successfully defended that push. And now it's time to defend the cart. So I like where you're standing. So now we're going to be talking about positioning and like playing corners. So Ryan always wants to be playing next to natural cover. He's got the biggest shield in the game. It's the strongest shield in the game. But natural cover is still incredibly important to him. So I like where you're standing, close by a corner. But I'd rather you be where your DPS are, right? So your DPS want to be taking shots down here. They don't want to give space for free, and neither should you. So I'd rather you be at this corner controlling this. Because the last thing we want to do, and we'll touch on this in a little bit, you'll see some examples, is a Reinhardt does not want to be in an alleyway. So the last thing Ryan wants to do is go through this. This is a really elongated choke, and it's one of the worst for Reinhardt. Because you can play natural cover here, but then you have to go through this long choke before you can get to any other natural cover, right? Reinhardt wants to be jumping from natural cover to natural cover, corner to corner, sort of thing. So your DPS are trying to take the shots down here, but now they don't have a shield to do it with. So the difference between standing in the middle of the street and standing. Just give me a second. Actually, I should have opened this. Okay. Oh. Hmm. Why is it? Okay. Anyways, oh no. What has that done? Oh, yikes. Sorry. The difference between standing here in the middle of the street and standing here against a corner is huge. Standing in the middle of the street means that any pressure being put on you, you have to take quite a bit of distance to either get to this cover or around here. Standing close to the wall, if you take a little bit of heat, you can just back up right here. And it's only a couple steps, right? So Reinhardt does not want to be standing in the middle of a corridor or out in the open of anywhere. You always want to be close to a wall. One side of your body should almost always be touching a wall. And that's something as well, is what is going on with my game? Okay, I'm going to close this thing. Quit. Sorry for that. That's another thing, is with Reinhardt, it is your job to block shatters, and protecting your DPS is kind of the main focus, right? So our DPS are essentially the ones that so-called carry the games, and it's the tanks and supports jobs to enable them and help them do that, right? So tanks make space for support, or make space for DPS, so DPS can pop off, and supports support the tanks so they can make space for the DPS to pop off. That's kind of a rough way of how the game works. But Moira Coalescence is something worth shattering. So as soon as Moira pops her her ult, I'm looking to shatter it. I don't care if it ends up being a 4-person shatter, which is great. It's super flashy and all this kind of stuff. But if Moira was alone by herself, I would have gone for it. I would have traded Shatter for Coalescence any day of the week, right? Shatter is something that you can build up really fast, so is Coalescence. But I wouldn't mind solo shattering an ulting Moira. So that's kind of a cue to put your shield up, right? But even here, we can move on to our third topic that we're trying to cover, is aggression. How to play with aggression, right? So at this point here, this is when the fight really starts to happen. So we already talked about standing up at the first corner and, you know, letting your DPS take the shots, so you're not giving any space for free. And we're standing in the middle. We want to be close to a wall. And then... So at this point, your shield and health are very healthy, and Bob got invested, right? Bob gets slept immediately, but you know, in a perfect world, we're already there to help shield Bob. Essentially, Bob is something that can carry. He can carry a team fight, so protecting him is also a priority thing. Bob gets slept. That's fine. We go for the shatter. It doesn't quite connect. That's still fine. All goes up. I like how you're playing close to this corner, but then your Mei kind of gets left alone, and you let her kind of die for free, right? Like you didn't back her up. I think there was a call probably that Reaper was in your back. That might have pulled you. Yeah, Reaper and Widowmaker were in your back, so that's probably why you gave space. Okay, that's fine. But even still, so there's two types of way the last 5 seconds could have played out. So right here, we're still standing very far away from the corner, right? So when we play at the corner here, I'll tell you why. Like another reason why playing the corner is so effective, especially on King's Row. So if we play the corner here, then the only person that can really do damage to you is the opposing Reinhardt, and you're also stopping card progress. So you can contest the point right here. Your team has all of this to work with. My team is kind of choked up in here. And for us to try and contest you means that we have to leave the safety of, you know, all this natural cover that we have to work with and step out into the open here. And then we're vulnerable to your DPS. So as soon as Coalescence gets invested, that can either trigger you to go super aggressive or play defensive. So Coalescence and Reinhardt swings are both unblockable damage. So that puts a ton of pressure on the opposing team. So you can either play super aggressively and force me into a position where I can't use Shatter or I'll die, or you play super defensively and make sure your shield's up for the Moira to get her full ultimate off. So those are two kind of ways that you could have played it. You played it sort of in the middle, and yeah, it didn't end up the greatest. Okay, so we're respawning. And again, like, so this right here, you kind of have a natural tendency to walk out into the middle of the road, right? Where all your DPS really need this. This is perfect positioning right here. So if you were a little bit closer up to the corner, that'd be great. But look at our sight lines sort of thing. So we're here. with that to look at. So almost half of your shield is being protected. You're by a corner, so if you do start taking a lot of heat, you can just drop it and you have natural cover and all this kind of stuff. This is where you want to be. But then you walk out to here. Now, only McCree is kind of behind your shield, and that's the only cover you guys have. So if your shield goes down or it breaks, you guys are super vulnerable right now. You have no natural cover to hide behind. And not only that, is we have your entire shield to focus down, right? We have a larger area to shoot at, and it'll break your shield faster. One thing that I want everyone to take away from this is play with natural cover, and it doesn't matter what that natural cover is. It can be, corners are the best, walls and doors are second best, but you can always use the payload as cover, right? So good fire strike. Right here. So if we stay and we use this payload as cover, it stops the cart progress, but it also makes us, and sorry, it stops the cart progress, and it makes the opposing team have to put themselves into a vulnerable position to make a play, right? But instead, we're kind of giving up cart space, and now we've got control of this corner. A lot of ults and stuff got invested into us getting this corner, or red team getting this corner, but there's certain things that we can do to make it harder for us, and maybe have to invest more in order to get that. And at this point, it's kind of just it turns into a really scrappy fight. So one more see-through. So we've talked a lot about positioning, shield management, like positioning and how that affects shield management, sort of thing. So that's actually a really good frame right there.
Ready for battle.
Right here. Right here is something that's almost considered like perfect shielding, so to say. So you're holding a corner, and most of your shield is inside of natural cover. So you actually don't want to be using your full shield as a Reinhardt. It's weird to say, like it's really big and it's tempting to use and stuff, but 1600 health in this game is actually not that much. And we've seen how fast that health pool of your shield can go down just by, you know, random spam. So the next thing I want to talk about is aggression. So you'll notice that you're hardly ever in position to swing on the enemy team. You get really great fire strikes, and that's kind of what you're relying on to build your ult. So you land one there, and you've landed some pretty good fire strikes, so you're at 30%. Again, nice fire strike, 100% accuracy. But then at this point, we're always just outside of swing range. Right, we're gonna fast forward 20 seconds. So again, you've built 90% of your ult almost entirely off of fire strikes, which is good, which means that you have really good fire strike abilities, right? But we can get that faster if we toss in a couple swings, right? So take this fight for example. So most of the team is there with you, right? You can swing on this. As long as you have health, you can swing. Once you drop below half health, then you should start thinking about, hey, let's put up the shield so my healers can have time to bring me back up. And then once you're back up to health, then you can start swinging again, right? So you're kind of giving up a lot of space here, and if any of these connect, so that was two tanks in your face, right? If you swing here and you land a couple, like two swings on a target, now you have shatter, right? And having shatter just like within that fight could have made the difference. So again, this is the ult fight. A lot of ults invested. Yeah, and also playing not on the corner. So if you play on the corner, you're within striking range of Reinhardt. That's good. Swing. But then we're backing up a bit too far out of range, right? So we're not going to go too far into it, but you can see how there's a lot of opportunity for melees to be added into your kit, right? So your fire strike usage is good. You built your first shatter off of it almost entirely, but adding in those melees would make your shatter come up way faster. And I'm not saying like put yourself in risk just to get a melee off or just to build your shatter faster, but there are ways that we can improve it. So on the flip side, we're going to take a look at this again, but we're going to look at my perspective of it.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So we're going. So fire strikes there. See how I'm sticking to this corner or to the wall? We backed up here because there was a call. Maybe someone was in our back line. But I'm playing by the corner, and your shield was broken at this point. It's back up, but that was our cue to go in. It was an unfortunate block, but you can see how. So let's stick. Let's slow this down. So a couple things that we're gonna see is I'm gonna be sticking to this wall like glue, because if at any point, so this wall is my best friend. As Reinhardt, walls are our best friend. Corners are our best friend. So you're gonna see me come up here with swinging, you know, shielding when I can. And then if I feel like I'm taking too much heat, like my health is getting low, my shield's getting low, I'm gonna start backing up around this corner. I'm gonna start blocking your DPS line of sight, so I can recharge. And then once I feel like I've got enough under my belt, I'm gonna go back in, and it's gonna be this kind of like the sea. Tide's gonna go in, tide's gonna go out, sort of thing. So that's what we're gonna kind of look for. Yeah, so right there, barrier destroyed. I was like, okay, let's go. Take the objective as much as I can. Coming within range. May's the devil, so you never want to let her get close to you. Counter charge comes in. Unfortunate. Unlucky. That was also unlucky. Okay. So let's move on a little bit. Okay, actually. Objective A is captured. Now we're trying to clean up and further this. Further this advantage. So the reason why I can push up like this is because I know there's no immediate threat. So just look at this at half speed real quick. So my shield's below half. I'm letting that recharge, but as long as my health is fine, I'm fine. You guys don't have a Reinhardt, so there's nothing here within this group that can burst me down. So I have no problem, you know, flying in. Again, my shields, it's healthy, I'm healthy. I want to push this, right? We can be aggressive as we want when we have resources to us. Right? So I'm sticking to this corner. When things get hot, I can just back around. And we don't want to be greedy, so we don't push any farther than this corner.
No one can hide from my sight.
Sticking to this corner, looking for fire striking range. I fire strike like that because that's another thing. I fire strike off of cooldown, essentially. You know, fire strike lanes are the fastest way to build shatter. Right? Fire strike gives you 7% per target hit. But once you have fire strike, you don't want to fire strike anymore. It's tough because you see like they're all grouped up. You know, I can get a fire strike. It's gonna be juicy. But if you already have shatter, then you're only charging support ults, right? So
No one can hide from my sight.
that's a go-to fire strike sightline for me, but I looked down, saw I had Shatter, and I didn't want to give your supports more ult charge, so I just threw it into the wall. Fire Strike's useless to me at this point. I have Shatter. Yeah, and then we get caught out. Yeah. So it might look like I know I just gave you like a hard time of standing in the middle of the street, and it might look like I'm standing in the middle of the street, but what I'm doing is I'm moving from corner to corner. So I'm here, and then I want to move to this corner as fast as possible. The only thing is that, you know, there are variables that make me stay here, but what you'll see is, especially through the sightline, you'll see how many team members that I block off just with this one corner. So right there, sorry. Oh no. So we're ready to go. Shield hopping, get a melee in. It's totally fine. I notice I'm standing out in the middle, and then I close that corner off. Right? And now I've only got 2 people to work with rather than 5. Had Bob stayed awake, I was close enough to this wall and this door where I could have just gone in, and our whole team could have just used natural cover and just wait out the Bob. But since Bob gets slept, it allows me to stay outside for longer. And having Shatter always kind of puts you into like a sort of power position, so to say. Just take a look at that one more time. Full speed. So I'm looking at my shield management here. So it gets taken up a bit. Bob gets it down pretty low. Yeah. So remember what I was talking about? About like not letting your shield break? So I let my shield get down all the way to 22 health. But that 22 health is still enough to block a Shatter. All you need is 1 health on your shield, right? So I'd rather... Yeah. I would rather my shield be alive and take 499 damage than let it break. Because if it breaks, then I don't get to block this Shatter, right? And it's I'm kind of contradicting myself because, like, again, I'm doing exactly what I told you not to by standing out in the middle of the open. But you can see my instinct. So I'm gonna slow this down so I can talk while it's happening. So my instinct here, letting my shield recharge, that's fine. Shield's up because of May overextends, but I'm sticking to the wall, right? I'm sticking to this wall just in case. Mei's down. You know, I'm back up to full charge, like full health, full shield. And now I'm stepping out into the middle because I want pressure on my shatter. So if I move this way, that kind of forces you guys to move this way, right? Because we never want to be, we're never going to go into each other. One Rein goes one way, the other Rein goes the other way. So by me pushing out here, I'm kind of swinging you into this wall, rather than you being allowed to swing over here. But that's for another day. Like, that's kind of an advanced lesson I can teach later, is how to manipulate the other Reinhardt's movement. But right now I just want to focus on the 3 topics of the day, which is shield management, playing with natural cover, and aggression. Yeah. I think that's all we really need to see for now. We've got a pretty good sense of how this played out. Oh no, sorry. There's one more thing that I wanna. So playing these corners, you're gonna see just how powerful positioning is, right? So from here, I'm gonna quickly cross into here. So just by me being here means that your entire team has to back up around this corner. So all this card progress is essentially free if I just stand here. Right? Otherwise, we would want to meet you, or you would want to meet me up here, right? You want to be playing this first corner, so that if you do get team wiped, you have a second shot at retaking the point. Yeah. So you're kind of letting me take this position when I need to be punished for it, right? So as a Reinhardt player, you need to be the one to step up and really force me to take that space. So me walking across the this alleyway here should be punished, and that's kind of our job as Reinhardts. It's gonna feel like you're feeding sometimes, you know. You're gonna overextend. You're going to go into a fight, and your resources are gonna get burned. Your shield's gonna get smashed. Your health's gonna you're gonna get one shot by a Reaper Roadhog shots to the face. It's gonna happen a lot, but by it happening a lot is how we learn, so that hey, I did this. This was the scenario last time. I'm gonna make it a little bit different this time, and we keep burning and we keep learning on that. So we're gonna learn by throwing. That's essentially how this game works. Any game is gonna feel like you're throwing 100 times before you actually manage to get that one good game. So don't be afraid to throw your games. Essentially, not that we want to be throwing our games, but we have to learn how to manage our aggression and not give up space. Yeah, like just because you're on defense doesn't mean you have to play defensively. You can still play offensively on defense. And that's how we create space for our team members. Yeah, so that's going to be all I'm going to show for today. Again, a little bit of a recap. What this was a Reinhardt VOD, and we're We're talking about shield management, playing our corners or natural cover, and we're learning how and when to be aggressive. Aggressive when you have over 50% shield and health, defensive when you have less than 50% shield and health. Yeah, so that'll be all for today. Yeah, hope this helps.